In this video, let's solve signals and systems questions which were asked in GATE 2021 for ECE students. Okay. First question is, autocorrelation function Rx of tau of a White-sense stationary random process x of t is shown below. Find the average power in watts. Okay. We know that Rx of tau at tau equal to 0 gives you average power. Okay. So that therefore average power for this question is simply 2 watts, right? Because Rx of 0, that is Rx of tau at tau equal to 0 is 2. So answer is 2 watts. This is a very simple question which was asked for 1 mark. Okay. So now let's go for another one. Consider the following information about x of t. X of t is real and even. Average of x of t is 2. And x of t Fourier series coefficients are ak equal to k for 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to 3, 0 for k greater than 3, and fundamental time period is 6, and we should find out power of x of t. Okay. So from this first point, because x of t is real and even, so I will write that since x of t is real and even, that implies ak will also be real and even. Okay. So this is the property of Fourier series coefficients. If the signal x of t is real and even, then its Fourier series coefficients will also be real and even. Okay. And from this second point, average of x of t equal to 0. Average is nothing but a naught, the DC value. Okay. A naught is 2. And from this third point, I can simply say that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me again draw this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Okay. At 0 the value is 2. Okay. A of 0 is 2 and A of 1 is 1 and again A of 2 is 2. A of 3 is 3. All the other terms are zeros. Okay. And since x of t is real and even, that is therefore ak will also be real and even, therefore a minus 1 will be equal to a1, that is 1. So I am drawing it. If the heights are not same, please bear with that. And a of minus 2 will be equal to a of 2, that is 2. Okay, this is 2. And a of 3 is 3. Sorry, a of minus 3 equal to a of 3 equal to 3. And all the remaining terms will be 0. Okay, then only this part will be even, right? At x equal to 0. Okay, at x equal to 0, you see the both sides of that graph, they will be symmetrical. Okay. Now I should find the power of x of t. So power of x of t is simply sigma k equal to minus infinity to infinity mod ak square. Okay. Then I can simply write this as a naught square plus 2 into a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square, because a1 equal to a minus 1, a2 equal to a minus 2, a3 equal to a minus 3. Okay, that's why I written 2 into that. A naught square is 4 plus 2 into a1 square is 1, a2 square is again 4, a3 square is 9. So 14 to 28 plus 4, 32. So answer is 32. So power of x of t is 32. Okay. So this is the question. And let's do another one. For the input v of n, the output y of n is 2 in delta n plus 1 plus delta of n plus delta of n minus 1. But when the input is 1 by 2 whole power u of n, then the value of y of 0 is. Okay. So at first they applied an input u of n, that is step they applied, and the output they got is 2 into delta of n plus 1 plus delta of n plus delta of n minus 1. So this one becomes step response. Because the input is step, the output will be equal to step response. Okay. But they are asking when input applied is 1 by 2 whole power n u of n, then what is the value of output at t n equal to 0. Okay. So we were given step response. Step response is denoted by S of n, that is simply equal to 2 into delta of n plus 1 plus delta of n plus delta of n minus 1. Okay. And to get step impulse response from step response, if it is a continuous time signal, then h of t will be simply equal to d by dt of s of t. But in discrete domain, the same differentiation is equivalent to first difference. So the first order differentiation will be equal to first difference. So h of n will be equal to s of n minus s of n minus 1. Okay, let me keep this in a box. 1 second. Okay, and now because h of n is s of n minus 1, so that implies h of n is equal to s of n minus s of n minus 1, that is simply equal to 2 into delta of n plus 1 plus delta of n plus delta of n minus 1 minus 2 into delta of n, okay, plus delta of n minus 1 plus delta of n minus 2. So if you simplify this, you'll be getting 2 into delta of n plus 1 minus delta of n and then minus delta of n minus 2. So this is equal to h of n. Then therefore h of n is equal to 2, minus 1, 0 and minus 1, right? So this is the 0th sample. This is the first minus 1 sample. This is the first sample. This is the second sample. First sample is not present here, so I have written it as 0. Okay. So I will be simply showing only the 0th sample with an arrow mark. Rest will be following. Okay. Now I need to find y of n or y of 0. Okay. But I know that y of n is simply equal to x of n convolved with h of n. Okay. But h of n is 2, minus 1, 0 and minus 1. Here 0 sample, and x of n is, so x of n is 1 by 2 whole power n u of n. So x of n will be non-zero only for n greater than or equal to 0. So for n equal to 0, the value is 1. The n equal to 1, the value is 1 by 2. n equal to 2, the value is 1 by 4 and 1 by 8 and so on. Okay. And the first sample is starting at, sorry, the 0th sample is at 1. So this is the 0th sample. For h of n, this is the 0th sample. So I will be erasing all this stuff. I will be taking only y of n and x of n. So let me erase all those things. Okay. And let me drag this top. Okay. Right. Now I want y of n. That is just a convolution. So what I will do is I will use the convolution method. Okay. So here I am taking 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 8 and so on. Okay. Here it is 2, minus 1, 0, minus 1. So if I write the convolutions, what I will be getting? 2, 1, 1 by 2 and 1 by 4 and so on. Okay. Minus 1, minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 4, minus 1 by 8 and so on. 0, 0, 0 and so on. Minus 1, minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 4, minus 1 by 8 and so on. Okay. So these will be the terms, right? Let me use white color, then it will be visible, clearly visible to you. in this way you will be calculating the convolution, right? So the answer will be something like, so 2, and here it is minus 1, right? Minus 1 and plus 1. Okay, here it is minus 1 and plus 1, so it will be simply 0. Okay, and again if I am doing this, it will be again some value. So I am not interested in that. That may be 0 or something, I don't know. Not interested in that values. Okay. Now, so I want y of 0, but before that, let me calculate the limits of y of n. H of n is ranging from minus 1 to 2, right? And x of n is ranging from 0 to infinity. So these are the limits of n, okay? Then y of n will be ranging from just the sum of the lower limits to sum of the upper limits, that's it. So minus 1 plus 0 is minus 1, 2 plus infinity is 2 infinity, okay? So the range of y of n is, that is the range of n for y of n is minus 1 to infinity. So I calculated here y of n. So this term will correspond to n equal to minus 1, and this term will correspond to n equal to 0, and next terms will correspond to n equal to 1, and so on, n equal to infinity, okay? So but I want y of 0 only, right? So y of 0 is simply 0. So this is your answer. Okay, so y of 0 is simply 0. I think you understood this one. So there is no need to bother about the rest of the terms in x of n, because we need only y of 0. If you need the higher order terms, then this approach may fail. Then you need to go simply by representing h of n as 2 into delta of n, 2 into delta of n minus 1 minus delta of n minus delta of n minus 2, and x of n as 1 by 2 whole power n u of n, and then do the convolution using convolution properties like u of n in the convolution del of n is equal to u of n. So and u of n convolution del of n minus 1 is u of n minus 1. So such properties you should use, and then you can do that. Okay, otherwise you can follow this method, or else you can follow the before method also for this question. Both will result in the same answer. Okay, so now let's go for the other question. X of n equal to 2 power n minus 1 u of minus n plus 2, and y of n equal to 2 power minus n plus 2 u of n plus 1, then 1 by 2 pi whole integral 0 to 2 pi x of e power j omega into y of e power j omega d omega. Okay, so here as I will just write Parseval's theorem. If you are aware of that, then it's fine. Parseval's theorem states that 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi x of e power j omega into x of e power j omega conjugate, that is simply equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi mod x of e power j omega whole square, that is equal to sigma mod x of n whole square, n ranging from minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so similarly if both are x, then this is the equation. But if one signal is x of t and the other signal is y of t, then that theorem is known as Plancker's theorem. So I am simply writing that statement: 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi x of e power j omega into y star of e power j omega is equal to simply sigma n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n into y of n. Okay, now but I was asked to find out 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi x of e power j omega into y of e power minus j omega, but the formula we are having is x of e power j omega into y conjugate of e power j omega. But if you see the signals, x of n and y of n both are real, they are not complex signals. If the signals are real signals, suppose here y of n is real, so if y of n is real signal, then y conjugate of e power j omega is simply equal to y of e power minus j omega, or y conjugate of e power minus j omega is simply equal to y of e power j omega. Okay, this is the property of DTFT. Okay, so I can simply replace y star or y conjugate of e power j omega with y of e power minus j omega. That simply gives my required question. Okay, my required answer to be found out. Okay, therefore I will be erasing all this stuff and I will be taking only this part. Okay, let me take it to the top. Okay, now these both are equal. Okay, remember that these both are equal. So my answer, let me take this as k. Okay, so k will be simply equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n into y of n. But x of n is 2 power minus 1 u of minus n plus 2. So it is ranging from 2 to minus infinity or minus infinity to 2, right? How is this? So suppose I will take first u of n, then u of n plus 2, then u of minus 1 plus 2. This is time shift. This is time reversal. So here I am replacing n with n plus 2 and here I am replacing n with minus n. So okay. So first let me take u of n. U of n is this. From 0 it will be starting. U of n plus 2 will be starting from minus 2 to infinity. This is from 0 to infinity. And if I am doing a time reversal, it will simply reflect from with respect to y-axis. Okay. So this will become minus infinity to 2. Okay. Therefore, the range of x of n is from minus infinity to 2. Similarly, the range of y of n is from minus 1 to infinity. Right? Minus 1 to infinity, because it is u of n plus 1. So it will be from minus 1 to infinity. See, I am not sketching the signals x of n and y of n. I am sketching the range of n for x of n and y of n. That is simply okay. This is x of n range and y of n range, n values range. Okay. Now, if I want the product, what is the intersection point? Intersection point is minus 1 to 2. So this is my intersection point, right? So I can simply write this x of minus 1 into y of minus 1 plus x of 0 into y of 0 plus x of 1 into y of 1 plus x of 2 into y of 2. Okay. X of minus 1 is, if I substitute here n plus minus 1, then I will be getting that 2 power minus 2, and again y of minus 1 will be 2 power 3. Substitute here, and similarly x of 0 will be 2 power minus 1, y of 0 will be 2 power 2, and x of 1 will be 2 power 0, and y of 1 will be 2 power, x of 1 is 2 power 0, y of 1 is 2 power 1. Okay, it is 2 power 1, and similarly x of 2 is 2 power 1 and y of 2 is 2 power 0. This will be simply 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, and that will be equal to 8. So the answer for this question is 8. So this is a very simple problem if you know the trick or concept behind this. Okay. So let's go for the final question in this video. Okay. So x of n and h of n are 16-point sequence and z of n represents their linear convolution. Y of n represents the inverse of product of DFTs of x of n and h of n. The value of k for which y of k equal to z of k. Okay. So let me write down the statements given in the question. Therefore, x of n is a 16-point sequence. Similarly, y of n is also h of n. H of n is also a 16-point sequence, and z of n represents the linear convolution. X of n linearly convolved with h of n. So how many samples for linear convolution? Okay, let me first define the terms, then let me go for that. And here y of n represents the inverse DFT of product of DFT of x of n into DFT of y of n. Okay, that simply implies inverse DFT of x of k. So this is capital X of k, not small x of k. Those are the DFTs, not the samples, signals. Okay, into y of k. So by the property of inverse DFT, it will be simply x of n circularly convolved with y of n. Okay, so the product in one domain will result in circular convolution in another domain for DFTs. Okay, so this is y of n. So I will be simply writing it here. Y of n is equal to x of n circularly convolved with y. This is h of n. I am sorry. Again, this here it is h of n, not y of n. I am sorry for that. Please change that. This is also h of k. This is h of n. Okay, please make that correction. So you got these 2 points, right? So I will be keeping them in a box. Okay, let me erase this stuff. So now I should find the relation between linear convolution and circular convolution. That is my aim. Okay, now I will be writing a table here, okay, which will be helpful. Linear convolution, circular convolution. Okay, in linear convolution, if x of n is m samples, okay, and y of n is n samples, then again I am writing y of n, it is h of n. I am used to that, that's why. And h of n is n samples, then z of n will be m plus n minus 1 samples. Okay, so for this question, z of n will be 16 plus 16 minus 1, that is 31 samples. So the linear convolution of x of n and h of n, that is z of n, will be consisting of 31 samples. Okay, and now coming to circular convolution, if x of n is m samples and h of n is n samples, then y of n, which is the circular convolution of x of n and h of n, will be max of m comma n samples. Okay, so for this question, y of n is max of 16 comma 16, which is 16 samples itself. Okay, so the point we should remember is the linear convolution will be consisting of 31 samples and the circular convolution will be consisting of 16 samples. Okay, the method to get circular convolution samples from the linear convolution samples is, I will be writing here. Okay, so linear convolution is 31 samples and circular convolution is 16 samples. Okay, 16 samples. So let me write all the samples from A0 till A30. So this represents 31 samples of linear convolution. So for me, in order to get the circular convolution from samples from the linear convolution samples, what I should do is, I want circular convolution means 16 samples. So the first 16 samples of linear convolution will be written as it is in the circular convolution also. So from A0 to A15. Okay, I am writing those as it is here. Okay, remember that. And the remaining part, that is here it is A15, right? So from A15 to A30, I will be bringing down here again. Okay, from A15 till A30, I will be writing it here. And now what I will be doing is, I will be simply adding all those things. So this will become A0 plus A15, this will become A1 plus A14 and so on. A30 plus how much? A14. This is A16, sorry. This is A16 and this is A30 plus A14 and this will be A15. Okay, let me give you a simple example so that you can understand this better. Okay, so suppose my linear convolution is 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 4 samples. And my circular convolution is also having 4 samples. Okay, max of n comma n. Okay. So in order to get circular convolution from linear convolution, what I should do is, sorry, this is not 4 samples. I'm sorry. So my example is, in linear convolution, if x of n is 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm not taking 16 samples, I'm just taking 4 samples. And h of n is 5, 6, 7, 8. Then z of n will be having how many samples? M plus n minus 1. That is 4 plus 4 minus 1. That is 7 samples. Okay, that samples I am representing as 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, just these are not the correct values, but the number of samples are correct. So because x of n is 4 samples and h of n is 4 samples, z of n will be 4 plus 4 minus 1. That will be 7 samples. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 samples these are. Okay, and now my y of n will be how many samples? Max of 4 comma 4. That will be 4 samples only. 4 samples. Okay. So now to get these 4 samples, what I should do is, I should take the first 4 samples of the linear convolution as it is. So I will be taking 9, 10, 11, 12 as it is. And the remaining samples in the linear convolution will be brought down here. That is 13, 14, 15. And they will be simply added with each other. So this will be 22, this will be 24, this will be 26, and this will be 12 because there is nothing here. So 12 plus 0 is 12. Okay, and if you can see this here, z of n is having 12 and y of n is also having 12 here, but all the remaining terms of y of n are differing from z of n. Only the last sample of y of n is becoming equal to the one of the sample of z of n. What is that sample? You see here, 12 is which sample? 0th sample is 9, first sample is 10, second sample is 11, and the third sample is 12. Okay, so and again here this is y of n, right? In y of n also this is 0th sample, 24 is first sample, 26 second sample, 12 is third sample. So y of 3 is equal to z of 3. All the remaining terms of z of n and y of n are differing. Only y of 3 and z of 3 are equal. So what is the 3? That 3 is the last sample of circular convolution. Okay, always remember the last sample of circular convolution will be equal to the same sample in the in the linear convolution. Okay, this is here y of n is the third sample, and in z of n also the third sample will be same. Okay, and because here it is 16 point sequence, x of n and h of n are 16 points. So how many circular convolution will be consisting of max of 16 comma 16, that is 16 samples only. Okay, so the last sample will be 15th, n equal to 15, right? So the circular convolution will be containing 16 samples, but the last sample will be n equal to 15. So z of 15 and y of 15 will be same. Okay, z of 15 and y of 15, these are not capitals, these are small only. Z of 15 and y of 15 will be same. This is the last sample in the circular convolution, that will be equal to the same sample in the linear convolution also. So all the remaining terms will be not same. So the answer is k equal to 15. Okay, I think you got this point. So why? Because you can understand this, right? Why? Because all the other terms we are adding to that some other point. We are adding again, but for the last sample in the circular convolution there is no addition term. So it will be simply coming as it is. Whatever is there in the linear convolution, that will be same as it is in the circular convolution. That's why the last sample will be equal. Okay, so z of 15 will be equal to y of 15. So that's it guys for this video. Thank you.